Alright, you random citizens, what's up, and welcome back to another giant Minecraft tutorial. In today's episode, we're going to be making RaysWorks version 4 Stem Farm. If you guys have seen the version 3 Stem Farm, I will say, even though it's a little bit more complex, it's actually a little bit cheaper because this design does require a few pricey materials. But it is an endgame farm, and if you guys are ready to tackle it, let's go ahead and get started. I will say, before we get started, that there is a material list in the description down below, so go ahead and copy and paste that wherever you need to. You can get everything you need. It should have everything that I use in this tutorial, as well as leaving a little bit of an allowance for some temporary blocks. Alright, so before we actually get started with the build, I just want to say one thing. Please bear with me as I build this. I am obviously doing this in creative mode. I'm going to try to build this in a way that is easiest for you guys in survival mode. But obviously I will be flying, so you guys are going to need some form of scaffolding, whether it be actual scaffolding blocks or if you use dirt blocks, whatever. But I'm going to try to build this in a way that makes it as easy as possible for you guys in survival mode, aside from flying. But either way, to get started with the build, go ahead and clear yourself an 18 by 20 block little footprint. Make sure you leave 57 blocks vertically. And then on your 18 block wide side, go ahead and pick one and make that your front. RaysWorks himself said this is omnidirectional, so you can build it facing whichever side you want, but I just have mine facing the north. Go ahead and come over to your right hand side of your build and go in 8 blocks, so 2, 4, 6, and 8, and then go in 6, so 2, 4, 6. This is going to be your first part of the build. So we're going to make this the red circuit. Go ahead and place 2 blocks, skip a block, place 2 more blocks. On top of those, place activator rails on the outside edges with powered rails on the inside edges. Go ahead and place yourself 4 temporary blocks with some sticky pistons on top. You can go ahead and break those if you want. You can leave them, but I'm going to stay consistent with Ray and break them. Go ahead and place 4 more blocks on top of your rails like that with a composter on the end. Go ahead and place a hopper on top, a hopper going towards the back, and then 5 hoppers in a line like that. Last thing you're going to do, there we go, is grab some honey blocks and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. This is where it starts getting fun. There's a lot that's getting ready to happen. So go ahead and grab your temporary blocks, whichever block you're going to use, and pillar up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go over 1 like that. Go ahead and break all of those blocks. Underneath that temporary block you just placed, you're going to place a line of sticky pistons, or just regular pistons, sorry, facing the inside of your build. So we'll hop up on these honey blocks here. We're going to make these 5 wide like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come underneath here and we're going to place dispensers all along the inside facing inward. Then what you're going to do is on this same level as the dispensers, you're going to place temporary blocks right there. And actually we can just leave those like that, because what we're going to do is we're going to place an observer, a permanent block right there, which we'll break those later, and then another observer and a 4th observer. Those are going to be facing downward. Go ahead and break these temporary blocks up here. What you're going to do is 1 by 1, you're going to place a rail. We're going to go ahead and put a temporary block on the outside edge here. Well, just a pillar up like that. That's easy. What you're going to do is place a minecart with hopper like that. Go ahead and break that. Actually, 1 second. Go ahead and place that back down there. You're going to want to make sure it's facing into the honey block. One thing I forgot to tell you is go ahead and jump down. That's going to push it into the honey block so it clips. Then as you break that rail, it will keep it faced into the honey block. Sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought there. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and pillar up 1, 2, and over 1 like that. Go ahead and place a regular piston facing downwards with a lever on the side. And you're going to have to be quick at this so that way your warped nylium or your crimson nylium doesn't turn into a netherrack block. Go ahead and place it on the bottom there and use your piston to push that down. What that does is it locks that minecart in there, so if we look at this hopper over here, you see there's nothing in there. If we drop something on top, it's going to get sucked down and popped into that hopper line. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. So place your rail, place your hopper minecart, go ahead and jump down there so it blocks in, break your rail, and you see it is still clipped in there. Go ahead and bring another regular piston over. If you have to, you can bring these temporary blocks over as well. place your lever, and then nylium extend. There we go. We're going to do this all the way across, one by one. So we'll bring over, we'll put a piston there, we will put our minecart in there, we'll make sure it's pushed over, and then lever, nylium extend. Ta-da. So we're going to do that all the way across real quick. Now that you have all of these in place, make sure you have 2 solid blocks on the outside. Ray did use glass, but I figured we could just leave some solid blocks in there. It's not going to make much of a difference. It basically keeps things from glitching out. Also, do double check at this point and make sure all of your minecarts are glitched into the honey blocks, so that way if any item does fall on that, it will end up in these hoppers over here. This is going to be collecting all of your dropped sprouts and whatnot, so that way it can be composted and you're going to have a max efficiency bone meal production, if you will. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and swing to the back here. All of these red circuit blocks are going to place a target block on the edge. Then what you're going to do is place 2 half slabs over here, 2 half slabs over here, with 2 solid blocks in the center. On this solid block, you're going to place a redstone repeater set to 1 tick, and you're going to place a line of redstone dust like that. On the back of these dispensers, go ahead and place hoppers facing inward like so, with hoppers facing into those from the top. At this block level right here, we're going to go ahead and add 1 block over. We're going to come down 1 and use a half slab, break that block. We're going to come over 2 more blocks like so, and at the same time we're also going to go down 1 and half slab over. On top of these, you're going to put some powered rails, and you're going to stop at the edge of this piston. At the back of this repeater, what we're going to do is place a target block like so. Let's place a temporary block to get a top half slab. You're going to do 2 half slabs, some redstone dust. On the edge of that redstone dust, you're going to place a solid block like that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the blue circuit. So go ahead and place a temporary block down like that with a sticky piston on top. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and place a block out like that and a block out like that. On this one, you're going to place a redstone repeater, and on this one, you're going to place a regular powered rail. Well, I guess it's not a regular rail, it's a powered rail. Either way, on top of this target block, what you're going to do is place a solid block, and then on the edge of the solid block, you're going to place a sticky piston. Go ahead and stand on top of this solid block and place a observer facing towards that powered rail. Then what you're going to do is come over here towards this block, go ahead and make a temp block, and place another observer facing inward. So these both should be facing that powered rail. Now, go ahead and drop down to the bottom level, place an observer facing upward like that, so that way it is on the sticky piston. Then what you're going to do is place a block out the back of this, place another block so that way it is even with that repeater, and then come over here and place another sticky piston like that. So that way this basically creates a 3-tick pulse, so every 3rd tick it just moves around, so it'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. Ray explains it a lot better than I will. Go ahead and make a temporary block there, place a solid block like that, another solid block, place a slab like that, with a solid block off there like that. Go ahead and fill this with redstone dust, and that is your next bit. Next, what you're going to do is go ahead and drop to the bottom of your build where we place this first composter. What you're going to do is go ahead and start making a line of composters going over like this all the way to the edge of your build. Go ahead and place a temporary block right there, another composter. You can break that temporary block, and then place 2 more temporary blocks like this. Now go ahead and start placing hoppers underneath all of these composters, like so. On top, go ahead and break these 2 blocks. On top of this blank space, you're going to go ahead and place a dropper facing down like that. This is going to lead all of the bone meal that's produced from over here all the way over and start inserting it into the system. Alright, so let's go ahead and swing over to the back side of the build, come over to these hoppers right here, place a 2-block temporary block, or temporary building platform, whatever you want to call it. Grab some regular pistons, and you're going to build a 5-piston wide section, just like that. Go ahead and break that temporary block, and we're going to place another temporary block, right like that. place a 5 wide line of obsidian over. Then you're going to grab some of your solid blocks. This is, in case you didn't notice, the purple line. This is going to be your on-off switch. So place a solid block there, followed by 3 half slabs, another solid block. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave that for a second, and we're going to come down here to these 2 composters. You'll see they're right underneath the half slab. Go ahead and place 2 blocks like that, a temporary block and over one more, go up and up like that, go up a temporary block and over, so break these 2, and then just like that you'll go up and over one more. Now right here what we're going to do is go ahead and fill all of this in with redstone. We'll start right here. So fill all of the obsidian in, this entire line going over, make sure that's filled, that's filled. We're going to leave this one for now. Place 2 more. On this composter we're going to place a redstone repeater set to 2 ticks. We're going to come over to the back side now. We're going to place 2 blocks like this. Go ahead and place 2 blocks up, break this lower one. Then come down here, temporary block to get over, like that. And then up one, just like that. So redstone, 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 redstone. This block is to make sure these 2 do not finagle around with each other. We don't want that. Now what you're going to do is go ahead and grab a sticky piston on top of this redstone dust, or on the side of this block right here. Go ahead and put your sticky piston down, put a lever on the back side, and go ahead and turn it on. Drop down to the very bottom of your build, and look up, and place an observer on the underside of that extended sticky piston. That's going to make sure it's facing up. And then you're going to climb up to the top here and make sure you place one facing down like that. Come over to this block that we left blank, and what we're going to do is we're going to place a piston, so that way we can place a sticky piston on the side of it like that. Now, one of the last things you're going to do is grab a note block like this. Make sure the note block goes underneath that right next to the sticky piston like so. Place a temporary block, a redstone block, go ahead and break that temporary block, and then place a regular piston. And now everything should set itself just like that. Now your on-off switch is primed, and we can start building the next layer. Going back up to the top of the build, what we're going to do is we're going to place a couple temporary blocks in, and this is going to be so we can place our dispensers in. So there's your first temporary block, and there is your second temporary block. So what you're going to do is you're going to place a line of dispensers, and this is going to be very difficult because you have to slowly line these up one by one to get under them. So make sure they are all facing down, and if we check underneath here, yep, they're all facing down. So we'll continue building this over like this, get that corner, and the last one like that. Go ahead and break all these temporary blocks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place a glass block like this, followed by a solid block, and then a solid block right here like this. And we're going to place one more solid block in right there. Go ahead and place a repeater set to 1 tick, followed by 2 lines of redstone going up, and then 5 lines of redstone, or 5 redstone dust, if you will. And that is that complete. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to come over. So if we build up 1 block like that, we're going to place a torch on the side right there. Then go ahead and place 1 more block over. 1, 2, like that. Make sure to place a half slab right there, and we'll cover these with redstone dust like that. And then the last thing we'll do is place a button on the side, if I could grab the button. Now Ray did use a stone button, so I'm going to place a stone button right there. And that is that next bit of dust. And actually, quick fix, we're going to go ahead and break these 2 like this. We're going to place a block on top of that sticky piston right there. And then from this point right here above the observer, we're going to place 1, 2, 3 slabs like that with a block over like that. Now, you can update that. It doesn't matter, but I just wanted to, be a little bit cleaner about it. And then we're going to fill this in with redstone dust. Sorry about that. Now with your sorting system done, go ahead and come over to this dropper right here. Go ahead and place a hopper with a dropper on top with another hopper facing into it like that. Go ahead and place a hopper in there. Let's get rid of, we're not going to need those for a while. Grab some composters. Place 1, 2, just like that. Now, at the edge of this composter, what you're going to do is actually come down 1 to this hopper. We're going to place a dropper chain going all the way up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6. It should come up just even with this redstone right here. Then what you're going to do is place, let's grab some observers here. This is where it gets really fun. So on the bottom corner in one, we're going to place a block with a comparator facing like that. We're going to place a sticky piston. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. We're going to place the observer facing inward like that. The next one, we're going to place a temporary block right here with an observer facing into that. Then we're going to place a temporary block off of this with an observer facing up like that. Nope. Wrong way. Temporary block right here with an observer facing down. There we go. So that way it's observing this space right here. We're going to place a door on the edge like that. And then we're going to place an observer like that. So that way it is observing the door. So as the door clicks, everything's in there. Alright, after a lot of trial and error, I finally figured out why that wasn't working right away. And that is because this part of the item sorter needs to be a half slab. So go ahead and break that solid block that I had in there, put a half slab down, replace that. And now, whenever you place items in there, you'll see they get dispensed out. This is how the bone meal is going to start working its way up the system. Alright, so moving on. Hopefully with everything that's been said so far, I haven't lost you guys. This is a intricate build. It is so compact. But either way, let's keep going. We need to go ahead and finish off the underside of this. So what we're going to do is place our stems right here like this. Now the reason we're placing these stems in here is basically so the system can kind of prime itself. And that way, as soon as you start actually using the farm, everything will be pretty much in place. You don't have to wait for blocks to slowly make their way over and slowly watch the system fill up. It'll just work perfectly as soon as you start it up. So what you're going to do is place those stems in there like that. Place a 2x1 wall of stems right there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your warped wart or your crimson wart. You're going to fill in this line right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. You're going to do the same thing over here, except you're going to fill in these parts right here with some hoppers. Sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. And you're actually going to come back 4 total hoppers. So fill this in just like this, and you'll see it butts up right against this redstone circuitry we've got going on here. Right here, you're going to go ahead and fill this up with a 2x2x2, literally a perfect 2x2x2 cube. And you're going to do the same thing over here. So you're going to place one there like that. This is going to stay empty. Over one, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then lastly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Go ahead and fill this in with glass. Just like that. Now, swinging up to the top, it's time to place a lot of hoppers. This is actually less hoppers than the last farm. It's a little bit smaller of an area, but they're actually a little bit more detailed as to where they're placed. So come over here to your first 2 composters and place hopper going in, and hopper leading into that. Swing around to the back side here, place a hopper in that, and a hopper in that, and then 1, 2, 3 composters up there. Now this needs to be 15 hoppers long, starting from this left one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this one, and we're going to place a hopper going in like that. 2 hoppers going in like that. Right here, this gets really, really intricate. We're going to place 5 hoppers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 going this way like that, 2 going leading into that path, and then we're going to place 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So there's that corner. Then what we're going to do is go ahead and place right here. So yeah, lined up with this one. Sorry. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This little gap right here is going to go 1, 2. Then right here, this is going to get filled in facing this way. Again, sorry if this is kind of confusing. I'm trying to memorize this as I go, and it's so weird. So now you're going to drop a line of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5 more pointing into that, like that. 3, 4, 5. Right here, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pointing in that direction, which should be towards the right, which is technically the left, towards those composters. Then what we're going to do is right here, we're going to place 1 going that way, like this. And nope, that doesn't go there. And then place 2 more like that. And this is exactly how Ray is building it. I'll leave that up to you guys to figure out why he did what he did. So place another one going in like that. Place 2 more like this, so that way it connects over like that. From this line, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be lined up there. And then leading into all of these, we're going to do 1. It'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Now again, Ray has built all of this. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to figure out, you know, his exact logic and his thought process behind it. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1, 2, 3 like that. And then in this 2x4 area, we're going to just lead all of these in here like this. There we go. And that's that half of it. Now we have another 3-block wide area. So obviously this is led in perfectly. It actually is really simple. All we're going to do is we're going to come over to the edge here and go 1, 2 like this, and we're going to fill in this entire area. And that's going to go all the way across, and it's going to follow the exact same pattern until the last 2x2 area. So now all of these are going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. We're going to extend it from this edge. We're going to come over here and go 1. Is it 1, 2? No, just 1, 2, 3 like that. 2 more pointing in like that. Now this right here is going to be a hopper going down. And then these are going to lead into that hopper going all the way over. So this is going to extend over until it meets our dropper chain like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put composters on top of these. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And that is our hoppers. Whew, that was something. Again, I will say this is exactly how Ray did it. I don't know if you have to go exactly like this. You might be able to lead him in a little bit differently. But I do know this line has to be facing over into here because this is how your bone meal is going to get fed into the system. Either way, grab your iron trapdoors and place them on top of the redstone just like that. And that is your hopper system. Next, let's go ahead and cover it up. So starting from this far corner over here, there's your front face right there. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So we're going to go 5 over, then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to carry this line all the way down like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make another 3-block wide. We're going to carry it over until it reaches these stems. 5 singles like that, and then we're going to repeat the exact same pattern. So there's that right there, and then a 3-block wide, and this is going to go all the way down until you reach your composters like this. Once you've reached these composters, go ahead and bring it over 1, 2 like that. You're going to put 4 ender chests right there. Nope, Sorry, that was in the wrong spot. You're going to put 4 ender chests like that. There we go. Then you're going to put 2 slabs, followed by 4 more ender chests like that. And then you're going to put your brewing stands along the back like this. Right here, you're also going to place 2 jukeboxes. That is exactly how Ray has it lined up. Now what you're going to do is where these stems are poking up, you're going to come over 1, 2, place a open, we'll open it this way, that way it's exactly like Ray's, an open fence gate, and the same thing over here, so 1, 2, and on the third, we're going to place a fence gate open like that. Now it's time to place the water. So for placing your water, what you're going to do is you're going to obviously shift click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, and then you're going to shift click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure when you're doing it, you're aiming at the hoppers. If you aim and you hit right on the slab, it's going to waterlog the slab and then it's going to fall over. And that is the exact water placement right there. So as you can see, the redstone is still intact down below. Now we're able to wire up the back and start heading up towards the dupers. Now this is unfortunately where it gets really expensive because we have to use a lot of ancient debris. The reason being ancient debris is I'm pretty sure the only block that's movable that does not get blown up by TNT. And so we're going to be using a lot of it. But then again, if you're building this farm, you know this is pretty much an end game type farm because this gives you so much wood you don't even know what to do with it all. Either way, we're going to place 4 temporary blocks on top of both of our fence gates. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to place 1, 2, and 3 fence gates on top of those. Go ahead and open those. Break all 4 of those temp blocks. Come over here, we're going to do the exact same. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll come up here, 1, 2, 3. Around the back, 1, 2, 3. Break those blocks. Now on to the redstone. So starting from this slab, we're going to place sticky piston, ancient debris. We're going to do that 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the 7th one, we're going to place fence gates on both sides. We're going to open both of those, and we're going to go up 6 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the 7th one here, we're going to place more gates. But instead of an ancient debris, we're going to use an end stone. Then we're going to go up 6 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And then we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to use end stone on all of those. And then we're going to place an obsidian block on top like that, and then 23 stained glass blocks. So, well, you can use regular glass, but I'm using magenta because it's nether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Pretty sure that's 23. I might have miscounted one. But either way, it's supposed to be 23 blocks tall. And if you did miscount, it's alright. We'll cap it off at the end. Now the last thing I'm going to do to make life a lot easier for you survival builders is we're going to come over to this bottom piston. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Break those. And now we're going to build this up the exact height of our piston tower. This is going to allow us to slab our way up and make everything a lot easier. So let's go ahead and start putting in all of the wires. So again, we're coming down here to the bottom, and what we're going to do is on this first one, we're going to place a upside down, or a top half slab. We're going to place a solid block right there, and now we're just going to alternate all the way up until we get to a certain point where we're going to have to add a repeater. So let's go ahead and start alternating back and forth. And again, this is going to make it easier for you survival builders. As you're going, if you want to go ahead and start laying your redstone, that way everything is placed correctly on the way up. So I'll just go ahead and do that with you guys here so that way you can see everything. Because one of the complaints that I did get on my last tutorial was that it was a little confusing as to where you were supposed to be going. Now, once you've reached this gate here, this is your first end stone, and we're going to call this the end stone gate. We're going to block over by 1 with a half slab. We're going to place a repeater on 1 tick, and then we're going to try to place a solid block. Let's just go ahead and place a temp block under there, break the temp block. We're going to put a redstone dust on this, on the top of the end stone block, we're going to place a half slab like that. Redstone dust there. We're going to place a whole block right here with a redstone, or with a half slab right there, and redstone, 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 just like that. Now we're going to continue our half slab pattern just like this all the way up, and this is going to go for the rest of the tower. So we'll place 1, 2, and then 1, 2. We'll continue doing this all the way up. So boom, boom. Goes there, and we don't need any more after that. There we go. So that is your redstone tower. Now, this is basically going to push everything into the center to allow the TNT to drop down systematically and break everything. So to start leading up to the area that has the dupers, what we're going to do is we're going to take a trap door, and on the back side of the pink line, what we're going to do is we're going to put a trap door just like that. Then we're going to place 1, 2, just like that, and this is now starting the first one of 39. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Now, whew, it's a mouthful. So now we're going to go all the way up to the top here, and what we're going to do is go over... Ooh, oh, nope, that's concrete powder. We don't want that. Break that. Grab actual white concrete here. Ooh, where'd it go? White concrete powder, white concrete. There we go. So I'm going to make the dupers out of white concrete, and the dupers are actually very similar to the ones from the last build. Or they're the same design, they're just spaced out a little differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to place a observer like this. The observer is going to be looking in at that. And then we're going to place like that. And we'll go ahead and break that one. We don't need that one. And then we're going to go over 15. So this is block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then all but the last few, we're going to go ahead and cover in redstone dust. Now we can start working on the dupers. Now, starting from the end of this line, we're actually going to go ahead and take off one of those redstone dust that we laid down. We're going to place 2 blocks like this, a redstone repeater on 1, 2, 3 ticks. Then what we're going to do is we're going to block over by 3. So 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and fill that up with some redstone dust. We'll place a solid block in there, and this is actually going to be our first TNT duper. Go ahead and delete that block out there. You know what? I lied. We need that block for just a second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to place a sticky piston facing up like that. Place a solid block on top like that. Go over 1. And then we're going to place another sticky piston, this time with a slime block on top of it. And an observer. Let's grab one of those real quick. We want the observer. We're going to place it looking towards the farm, so that way the face is sitting over there. And then we're going to go ahead and connect this up all the way over to this. Place the block up like that, break that out. Now let's go ahead and fill these in with some repeaters. So starting right here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another one set to 4. This one's only going to be set to 1, and then we're just going to fill this in with redstone on top, and then put this on 4 ticks right there. We're going to come back and we're going to build this duper in a second, but let's go ahead and start building up to the next circuit. So starting at this observer that's sitting here, directly underneath it, we're going to place a block of obsidian. Then we're also going to place a sticky piston facing up with a slime block on that. We're going to go over 2 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 in total, and then over 1. And then we're also going to place an observer looking out into the distance, just observing the beautiful sky. I don't know. Then we're also going to place an observer looking into this slime block here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and block out 1, 2, 3 like that. We're going to delete that one and replace it with a half slab like that. Now this is going to represent our pretty much temporary blocks. So directly even with this observer, we're going to build a 3 by 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is going to help us pretty much block out all the half slabs that are going to go in. So starting from this bottom one, we're going to go 1, oops, that's supposed to be up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and coming up here, we're going to 7, and then this right here is going to be a solid block. And we're going to come back to that later. If you were building this as you were jumping up, you can go ahead and place redstone dust all along, not on top of that, and down there. And also a redstone dust here on this obsidian. Now we're going to go ahead and come back up to here. Now this circuit is actually almost identical to this one down here. The only difference is we're going to block up like this, and actually I always do that. We need to leave that there. So we're going to make a block up from the observer and then leave this spot blank. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to go ahead and block up. We're going to go over 1, block up. This is where our next TNT duper is going to go. We'll leave that in there for now. And we'll block over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to block up. And actually, instead of blocking up, we're going to put a sticky piston down there. Then we're going to block up. We're going to go over and we're going to place another sticky piston just like down below. Same thing, it's going to have a slime block with an observer looking inward like that. There's going to be a block of obsidian, and then there's also going to be a sticky piston. And on that sticky piston, it's going to go 1, 2, 3 with an observer facing inward. Now, let's go ahead and start laying some of the redstone down. Starting right here, standing on top of this observer, we're going to go 1 single tick repeater, 1, 2, 3 dust. This time we're going to go 1, 2 tick repeater, and then 5, 4 tick repeaters. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this right here is a single tick repeater. Now, let's go ahead and finish up this before we get on to the TNT dupers. So this little bit I actually built backwards. It's supposed to be right into, oh, we're going to have to step down one. There we go. So it's supposed to be observing into that with one facing down like that. There we go. So we're going to put a temporary block right here with a sticky piston on top. Go ahead and break that temporary block now. Now over here, what we're going to do is put a slab like this, a slab like this, and a slab like that. Go ahead and put redstone on all 3 of those. Go ahead and put a slab. Actually going to build a temporary block right here. Put a slab there. And then put a slab right there. And then we can come up and do solid blocks. Go ahead and put redstone dust on all. No, that's not redstone dust. That's redstone dust on all of those. And we're going to spiral up to the top here and start working on our final duper circuit. Now, starting from these 2 blocks right here, what we're going to do is place 2 bits of redstone dust. We're going to go and place a block on top, a block over with a half slab underneath. We can go ahead and break that out. Let's go ahead and place a repeater set to 2 ticks facing into that. At the edge here, what we're going to do is have a block up there. And once again, I broke a block that didn't need to be broken. Block up right there, and we'll drag that over a few blocks. Put a repeater on 2 ticks, and we're going to come back to this line. This is going to be a line that leads to some fence posts that go all the way down, which we'll do that at the end. That way there's less counting. You just pretty much fill in the blanks. Coming back over to here, what we're going to do is place a observer looking into that direction. There's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to go over 1, and same thing. We're going to have same thing as down below. We are going to have a observer looking in that way. At the edge of that observer is going to be a block, temporary block there to place those 2 on the sides. And we pretty much all know what's getting ready to happen here. Same thing as below. So sticky piston there, a block there, sticky piston right here. And then we can also continue it over here. So 2, 3, there's a block up there, a block over, a block up. And this is where our sticky piston is going to be. So you can see they all line up perfectly with each other. So when they launch their TNT, it'll all be in the same line. And then we just continue this line over like this. And it'll be a block up right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is a slime block there with an observer facing that way. And that powers into that block. So now let's go ahead and once again start placing in some redstone components. So single tick repeater right there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 dust, redstone dust. Dust of redstone. That's interesting. Never done that one before. A double tick repeater. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one right here is a single tick repeater. So right here we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like that. And then we're actually going to go down one. I know this is kind of a challenge for you guys who are building this in survival, but unfortunately we do have to go down a block. So if you have some scaffolding, just kind of scaffold down. And then we're going to drag this over. And before we connect that up, let's go ahead and build our TNT dupes. So if you haven't watched my other video on the version 3 stem farm, or you just want to recap on it, this is how you build the dupers. We're going to build all 3 of them here. So the top one, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to go ahead and place a detector rail on that with our minecart. We're going to block over 1 like that. Up 1 over 1, down 1 over 1 to make the letter C. Then we're going to put our dead coral fan on there. We're going to grab our wall of choice, some TNT, and that is ready to go. Let's go ahead and place 1, 2, 3. Make that a double wide like that. Then we're going to block over 1, 2, 3, 4. From this bottom block, we're going to block over 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're actually going to break those 2. And then right here, we're going to place a gray glazed terracotta, or any glazed terracotta that's immovable. You could use furnaces if you wanted. You could use leaves if you want. As long as it is an immovable object by slime, or slime doesn't affect it, then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 like that. Go ahead and place a block on top of our glass structure. Now we're going to switch all of these out for these. So place your fence gate there and open it. We're going to double tap that, and we'll break the bottom one. Go ahead and open that, and then place another gate right there. Place a water bucket in there, and this is ready to go. So place a block on top of your piston, grab a lever, flick it once, flick it back, and now you are duped. So if we were to launch it like that, you'll see it goes all the way over and goes all the way down, and it does not blow up anything. Absolutely nothing is blown up. All of our redstone is still there. We're good to go. So let's go ahead and repeat this process. We're going to switch these back off. We're just going to build all of our dupers in one go. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to go ahead and place our rail, our cart, block over 1 like that, up and over, down and over, place our fan, cobblestone wall, TNT, there's that, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Grab our solid block here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, break those 2. Immovable object, 1, 2, 3. There's that, and before we place all those, I'm just going to make this easier on me, and I'm going to keep everything in my inventory the way it should be. So 1, 2, 3. Place that there, put our cart on top, over 1, up and over, down and over, place our coral fan, our fence, our TNT, and then our immovable object. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then this is going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4. Same down here, 2, 3, 4. Break those 2. Place our movable object, 1, 2, 3. Now that we've got all that out of the way, we can go ahead and take those, put those up there. Grab our fence gate, put it there. We'll double tap that so we can put one up top. Open that one up, and boom. Head up top, do the same thing. So put a fence gate, open it up. Double tap that, break the bottom one, open that up. Put that there, open it up. And the bucket of water. Now let's go ahead and prime these. So if we flicky, there we go. So now, see, that is ready to go. So it'll drop all the way down there. Boom, nothing gets destroyed. So we did that one right. Let's go ahead and prime this one here. Place a block there. And you have to place that block up there. If you place it on the piston itself, it won't like dupe it right. Or it won't prime it right. There we go. So now it is primed. So this one should go all the way down. And boom. You can see everything is still there the way it should be. All the fence gates are still there. Everything is perfect. Now, if you guys want, you can go ahead and leave that block in there. That is up to you guys. It will be, everything you see here will be included in the materials list, save for the iron blocks down there and the emerald blocks there. We are almost done. We have to come over here, wire this up, and then there's a few more finishing touches. So to connect everything up, what you're going to do is actually move this line over one. I didn't quite extend it far enough. So right there, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here you go. Up one block, up one block, up one final one, and a block. And at the bottom of that last block, you're going to place a trapdoor. Go ahead and place some redstone dust there. You're going to place a 2-tick repeater there and another 2-tick repeater right there. And now you're ready to connect it to the bottom. So if we were to fall off the edge of this, it should line up perfectly with this ledge right here. And it does. So the final thing is to connect this bit right here. It's going to connect up right here, and then there's going to be a bunch of walls right there. So let's go ahead and start building that. We're going to place a solid block on the edge of that brewing stand. We're going to place a solid block on the edge of that right there, that hopper right there. Then we're going to place 2 half slabs right here and right here. We will place a solid block like that, and we will place a observer looking at these scaffolding. Completely lost whatever the name of those were. So we're going to place a bit of redstone dust there and a bit of redstone dust there. That's going to link that up. And then right here, let's go ahead and place 2 half slabs. Break that one. We're going to place a repeater that way, and we're going to set it to 2 ticks. And on the edge of that, we're going to go ahead and set our block right there. Let's go ahead and block up twice. Break this one. Set our observer looking up at that. And then now, if we go ahead and you can see that already sent a pulse down there. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go ahead and continue this all the way up. So let's just go ahead and we'll float right on top of it here. Now for you guys, it'll be easy because all of your leftover walls, whichever walls you decide to make all of this out of, all of your leftover walls will add up perfectly, and it's going to go up 1 extra like that. So let's go ahead and build these other 2 real quick. And the reason why I saved this is for last is so that way we didn't have to count anything, because there's a lot of walls here. And while I will have a materials list and I will know how many walls are here, having to actually individually count these specifically, it's not worth the time, especially when we can simply place in a bunch of them until they line up. That's so much easier, isn't it? Especially after watching what is probably almost an hour-long tutorial, or at least 45 minutes. So being able to save you guys some time is definitely worth it. And then actually this is supposed to be angled on that. So that way, as it goes up, you can see it trips that observer down there, and it's going to start sending signals down here, which will allow different bits of the machine to move that Ray will go into it in detail. Now the moment of truth. Time to fire it up and see if everything works. Now the final steps before we actually power this on and get it running is very simple. First, we're going to come over here. We're going to put a redstone repeater and set it to 2 ticks. Right up here in the center of these 2 and these 2 brewing stands, we're going to place a 5th brewing stand. I'm not quite sure how I missed that one. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop down right here, and you will see along these target blocks there is that sticky piston. We actually need a solid block right there. And then go ahead and come over here to these 3 composters, and you can leave chests here if you want, or you can break them when you're done. But I would highly recommend putting these in just to start off and filling them with bone meal. So right now I have my system completely full, but I would recommend at least jump starting this. The reason why I say put 3 chests up there, so that way if you for some reason have all the bone meal in the world, you can go ahead and load it in. And then after you're done with that, it should sustain itself, so you can go ahead and put those back in. But that's up to you. And then the last bit is actually going to be all the way up here. I managed to forget one crucial piece of redstone, and it is on this obsidian block right there. So that way the obsidian is the same on top and bottom, and that's basically going to trigger it, so that way the third system of TNT will go, and it will also trigger this. It'll basically repeat the cycle over and over again. So now we can go ahead and turn this thing on. So what you're going to do is make sure this is flicked up, so that's in the on position, that's technically the off position. So make sure it's turned up, press that button, everything should start up. There's our first TNT, everything pushed out accordingly, or our first growth, everything pushed out, and then there's our first TNT, our second TNT, then it's going to start the second layer. So maybe it's every 2. Let's see if we get another growth here. I see everything working. There's the next growth. It pushed it over accordingly. So there's layer 1, dupe 1, layer 1, dupe 2. And then it should, there's layer 2, dupe 1, layer 2, dupe 2. And then every, I think like 8 or so, this will do the top one, the way Ray has set it up. But if we come all the way back down, you can see it reset itself, and so now there's a tall one. And it pushes out that center column, and everything works well. So that is the entire farm. Whew, that was a mouthful. Alright, so that is the entire tutorial. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, definitely let me know down below in the comment section. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And as always, I thank you for choosing my channel as your choice for gaming entertainment today. If you like what you've seen and you want to see some more, definitely hit that subscribe button and become a random citizen today. But I will say, this has been an amazing build. I've had so much fun building this. There's so much to it. Ray did an amazing work designing it, and I know he had a lot of help. So shout out to everyone who helped on that as well. Hope you guys are able to follow this okay. If you guys do have any questions for the first week or 2, I will be answering comments down below. If you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to ask me down there. I'll try to help you guys as much as possible. Join the Discord as well, and you guys can give me a world download of your world so I can go through and try and diagnose it myself if I'm not able to help you in the comments. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you guys have any other tutorials you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll add them to the list, and I will try to work on them. But either way, until next time, I will see you guys later. Cheers.